Hello there, I am Lamin Jai and this is News Review. Coming up, Gambia Action Party leader is slamming reports that its leader is on the run as mayor campaign. We have a report on that. Also coming up, Barrow's failure to attend the State of the Nation debate sees National Assembly shelve the parley for the second time in 2 days. We have a full report on that too. But first, what I will do is I will go through the papers today. I have the point as well as the standard. So the point lead today is saying, do Sano urges Gambians to be wary of 3 years Jotna financiers. Also, Barrow makes fresh appointments at OIC Gambia. Former GAMSU president, that's the student union there. President gives his side of the story on April 10 and 11. An insight into Jumansa booming pumpkin cultivation. So the lead story on the point is saying the deputy political advisor to President Adama Barrow has advised Gambians to be careful of the financiers of the current campaign, dubbed 3 years Jatna, by some Gambians who are within and outside the country. Dusano, who goes by his sobriquet Dusano, was speaking over the weekend at a familiarization rally organized by Barrow Sisters Fan Club at Sanyang Fulakunku, Combo South District. Also, the point is reporting Barrow makes fresh appointments at OIC Gambia. Adama Barrow, the President of the Republic of the Gambia, has appointed Yankuba Diba as the Chief Executive Officer of Organization of Islamic Conference, OIC Gambia Secretariat. Esa Bokarsi, former OIC Gambia Secretariat Public Relations Officer, is now named as the new Deputy CEO. Also, the point is reporting that former GAMSU president gives his side of the story on April 10 and 11. Omar Diouf, former president of Gambia Students Union, that's GAMSU, who testified before the Truth, Reconciliation and Reparations Commission through Skype on Tuesday, revealed that many students were killed by the paramilitaries with regard to the demonstrations. That will be all for the point. I will now turn to what the Standard is reporting on today. Their lead is saying ex-junta spokesman spills the beans. Badibu will teach Barrow a political lesson if he forms party. That's one Karamon Jai there. Papa says PPP was not sold to Barrow during visit to presidency. Also, St. Peter's ravaged by fire. That's St. Peter's High School there. OIC Gambia gets new CEO. That's same on the point. So the lead story on the stand is saying the former AFPRC junta spokesman Ibu Jallow has rejected the Janneh Commission's recommendation for him, Edward Singate, and Yankuba Toure to return alleged stolen monies belonging to the state in the sum of $32,220,000. He argued that neither the Janneh Commission nor President Adam Barrow has the constitutional power to punish him or any Gambian. Also, Badibu will teach Barrow a political lesson if he forms party. The spokesman of all Badibu UDP in North Bank region, Karamo Njai, has said that the people of Badibu will teach President Adama Barrow a political lesson at the elections if he forms his own political party. Shepherd arraigned for cattle theft. The criminal trial involving Idrissa Jallow, a shepherd, began Monday before Principal Magistrate Omar Cham of the Brikama Magistrates Court. Mr. Jallow is accused of stealing 12 herds of cattle in April at Basori village, valued at $280,000 from the herd of one Ismaila Sane. Papa says PPP was not sold to Barrow during visit to presidency. Papanjai, the leader of the former ruling People's Progressive Party, has said in a Standard exclusive that their visit to the presidency wasn't meant to sell his party to President Adama Barrow. Another disturbing and inferno report there, St. Peter's ravaged by fire. The entire administrative block of St. Peter's Secondary School in Lamin was ravaged by fire in the early hours of Tuesday. Residents and school administrators believe it is an arson attack. Police have visited the site and are investigating. So that will be all for the papers. I'll now bring you the first report we have. The National Assembly on Wednesday abandoned its plan to debate on President Adama Barrow's State of the Nation address. President Barrow is bound by law to address the National Assembly at least once every year. Mr. Barrow actually fulfilled that obligation last Thursday, during which he spoke on a number of plans, policies, and achievements of his government in the past year. And on Monday, members of the National Assembly met to discuss the president's speech there, but they became divided after a number of National Assembly members invoked a section of the Constitution which says the president or the vice president must be in attendance. The session was later abandoned. And today too, the lawmakers convened in a bid to go ahead with this debate, but it was postponed again. More in this report.
Section 77(2) of the Constitution, which was invoked by this Assembly on a motion on Monday, the 23rd of September 2019, required the attendance of the President or the Vice President to the sitting of the National Assembly today. However, the Office of the President has communicated the unavailability of the Vice President until the 3rd of October 2019. Therefore, cognizant of the provisions of the Constitution on this matter, coupled with the express intention of the motion of this Assembly, which was duly passed, and that in the absence of the President, it is only the Vice President who is mandated by law to speak for the President in the National Assembly. I will therefore invoke Clause 9(1) of the Standing Orders to adjourn this Assembly until tomorrow, 26th of September 2019, to consider other businesses of the Assembly. Equally, I will suspend the debate on the State of the Nation address until Thursday, the 3rd of October 2019, to allow the presence of the Vice President to attend the sitting and partake in the debate.
Members of the National Assembly have abandoned any idea of them debating on the president's speech. President Adama Barrow sometime last week came here to address members of the National Assembly as obligated, or he's bound by the Constitution to address the National Assembly at least once every year. He did that last week. On Monday, the members of the National Assembly were supposed to debate on this speech, but there was a problem. The National Assembly members invoked a section of the Constitution, Section 77(2), which says that the President or his Vice President should appear before the National Assembly when this debate is taking place. This has not happened, and members of the National Assembly are insisting that the President or the Vice President should be here, or else they will not go ahead with this debate. This is what we came here today, and this is what some of the National Assembly members have been saying.
I heard somebody saying, a top senior government official, allowing president to come to the National Assembly, we are going to embarrass him. Embarrass him for what? Once you've taken the trouble to campaign and you win, to be in that position, you should be ready for all trouble. We are not mad. What we want a dialogue. We want problems of this country to be solved. And this can be done amicably if the president himself is around, because a lot of promises are made, pledges were made, and Gambians are putting pressure on us. They are elected representatives. Why is it that A and B are not happening? So when the president himself come and then answer, this is not a witch hunt. It's not an issue of following the president. It's not an issue of trying to make the president embarrassed. Who are we to embarrass him? The nation belongs to all of us. We want matters to be on the table, and we find ways and solutions of solving the problems that are affecting the daily lives of the Gambia. And who is there to address this issue more than the president?
The president lacked the commitment to adhere to the principles of the National Assembly, because the president, under no circumstance, he knew very well that whenever the National Assembly requests for him to appear before the National Assembly, when actually the Vice President is not around, the President should come in the first place. Much more, the Vice President is not in town. In the event that the President deemed it necessary to delegate the Vice President to appear before the National Assembly, then the Vice President can appear on behalf of the President. But the situation that we are in now, the Vice President is not in the country, and the President is available. There is nothing that is stopping the President to appear before Parliament.
What happened on Monday, to me, I see that as unjustifiable. Because this parliament, that's the parliament of the Gambia, the reason why we adjourned on Monday was based on Section 77, subsection 2. And let me just start from Section 77, subsection 1. That says that the president shall come to the parliament and make an address once in every year. But if you go to subsection 2, that is 77 subsection 2, say that the National Assembly may place a request. That's what it says. This is a parliament may put a request. So Monday when we came to the chambers, then the parliament did not put any request to the office of the president. So adjoining that session because the president didn't appear or the vice president didn't appear was wrong.
What has happened is that the president did not come, the vice president did not come. And it is observed by members that the debate should not continue until the vice president or the president appears. Now, the assembly adjourned on Monday. We adjourned it to today so that the assembly will write to inform the executive that this is the situation and that the vice president should come. But then it appears that today too, the vice president they have communicated back to the assembly that the vice president has traveled to an official engagement outside and therefore could not appear. So therefore, we will not continue the debate with the other ministers because either the president or the vice president. Ministers can come to represent their various departments, ministries, but it's the vice president that can stand in the stead of the president.
What we have experienced now in these last few days is, at least for once, the National Assembly of the Republic of the Gambia have started asserting their authority to claim what is right. I know we are dealing with a very bad constitution, but regardless the ambiguity in some of the sections, we have to assert our authority to make sure that there's accountability and probity.
So let me ask you this then. Now the National Assembly is saying the president or the vice president should appear before this debate can take place. And this is something that has never happened. This is unprecedented, an unprecedented issue. Yeah. So what if, but what some people in some quarters are saying that the National Assembly members are out because clearly there are a lot of people who are not impressed with the speech given by the president. So the members of the National Assembly are out to embarrass the president, for the president to come and you give him a tough time. Is this the case?
Actually, it's not the case. I think anybody who is responsible to put your name forward, put yourself forward to be elected as the president of the Republic of the Gambia. Anything you do in the conduct of your office should be expected to be in the best of your ability and know-how.
So what we have been told is that the National Assembly will come back on the 3rd of October to debate on the president's speech, and by this time they expect the vice president to be in the country to be part of this debate. Lamin Jai reporting for the Fatu Network News Review here at the National Assembly in Banjul. The National Assembly debate, State of the Nation Address debate, rigmarole there. So I think I will now talk to Keksane. Keks is a journalist who was at the National Assembly, a passionate journalist who would always attend National Assembly sittings there. Keks, I think he's on the line. Keks, good afternoon. Do we have Keks on the line now? Keks, are you there? I think we are finding it difficult to get to Keks there. I would want to ask him a few questions regarding this issue. The National Assembly has shelved their plan to debate the president's statement there, the speech he gave last Thursday to the National Assembly. He is bound by law, of course, to address the National Assembly at least once every year. He did that, but the National Assembly members were supposed to debate on this speech. They went through the speech there and they want to debate to raise concerns and issues regarding the statement. They wanted to do that on the 23rd of this month. That was on Monday, but they came and then they shelved the debate could not go on because they invoked a section of the Constitution, section 77(2) of the Constitution, which says the National Assembly may request that the President or his Vice President attend this debate. They did that, but the President has been a no-show so far. We understand it is his Vice President who he wants to represent him there, but the Vice President, as some of you may already know, is also out of town. So, and that has come off as a bit of a problem, a bit of a hitch for both the presidency and the National Assembly. So is Kex now on the line? Hello, Kex. So if we don't have Kex on the line, I think we have another report that we will bring you. The Gambia Action Party leader has described a smear campaign reports that its leader is on the run, and the party on Wednesday gave an official reaction saying, I think Kex is on the line now. Kex, good afternoon.
Hello?
Can you hear me, Kex?
Yeah, I'm hearing a loud and clear.
Wonderful, Kex. So I just want to ask you, what were some of the things that you picked up at the National Assembly today?
Yeah, actually, we all expected that today the Assembly will continue with the debate in regards to the President's speech. That was the expectation of all the members of the National Assembly, because on Monday, as we are all aware, the debate could not continue because the National Assembly were demanding for the presence of the Vice President or the President to attend the debate of the National Assembly. But today, when we arrived in the morning, the Speaker said this issue was communicated to the President, but according to the President, the Vice President should come on behalf of him, but she is not actually in town as we speak right now. So for that being the case, the Speaker has revoked the clause 9 of the standing order to adjourn the session and waiting for the availability of the Vice President to come before the National Assembly, who will act on behalf of the President. So this was why the Assembly could not continue.
But clearly, Kex, from the look of things, this issue is being left to fester. Why would it be a problem for the President to simply come before the National Assembly? The Vice President is out of town. So it would have been a lot more easier. Life would have been a lot more easy if the President himself, appeared. What do you think?
Yeah, actually, for me, I don't know why even the President himself, is making these things very difficult. And to me, his action is definitely telling the Gambian people that he's not fit for the position. Because for me, there's nothing difficult in the whole issue here. It's just that, you give us a speech in regards to the state of the nation, the affairs, the state of the nation, how the situations are, and what are your plans, and what have you achieved, and what is being left, and what is your plan for the next legislative agendas, and so many things. So this issue is not about a question and answer session between you and National Assembly members, but all what you need to do is to sit down and attend the sessions while the assemblies will take the podium one by one, to scrutinize your speech, to look at, the speech, and they will take their stand, or they will look their observation on whatever they're gonna scrutinize there, and you will be taking down of notes. Then immediately after everybody spoke, then he will just stood up and said, okay, honorable member for Jara has said this and this, and yes, this is my plan for the government, and sum up everything. And that is very easy because you will be sitting within your technocrats who will be surrounding you, and they can even take notes on behalf of you. So all what you need, the notes that they have gathered, is what you will come before the National Assembly and just said, okay, we have heard your complaints, or we have heard what you said, so this is our plan, and this is this and this and this will be done. So there's nothing difficult in this. So why the President is not coming, holding this thing ransom for almost 2 days, is something that shows you that this person is not even competent to be at first place there. And we are losing money every day and night. Either we sit or not, National Assembly members are paid, for sitting allowance when the moment they left their house to come to the National Assembly. And 2 sessions has gone, and they are, nothing has happened so far as the state is losing money to pay them their sitting allowance, irrespective of whether something has done or not. And now we have to wait until on the 3rd for the Vice President to be. And actually, according to the calendar of the National Assembly, the sitting should end on the 29th of September. But they have to push it on the 3rd because of the president fails to come to the National Assembly or the vice president is not in town. For us, this is not good. This is not a good sign. This is just dealing that 3 days or 4 days that we have to wait for the vice president could have been utilized for other pressing issues of the country. But we have to wait, for one individual to come and appear before the vice president when the president is just less than a kilometer from here to the National Assembly. For me, I am been very disappointed, the action of the president, and this only exposed him rather than helping him as a president.
So now let me ask you this thing. Do you think, in your opinion, do you think the presidency, the president and his advisors understand at all that this is not what they might have been thinking, that the president would, because in some quarters what some people are saying is the National Assembly members have gone through this speech, and in some quarters already people are branding the speech as poor. And then the feeling that must have been in the presidency, or the feeling that must have been with the president, is that when he gets there, the National Assembly members may want to or try to make life difficult for him. But here you are saying that, well, it is not, in fact, it is the other way around. The president will just come and listen to what they have to say, and then at the end of the day, he would just try to address some of the concerns that must have been raised by the MPs. So do you think that is a failure on the part of the presidency, or on the part of the president himself, or even his advisors, to know that this is not as difficult as they might think?
Yeah, actually, I think they have not been honest, or they don't know the procedures of the National Assembly. But for me, this is not something that is very difficult, and anybody can just do this. Just like I sit and listen to Lamin Jai, analyzing my speech, and I will be taking up on any board that Lamin Jai has, and then I will just get it down, and I will say, this is my position, and this is my position of the government. It's not about you sit down in the podium and Honorable Ture Walla Jata will just come and say, Honorable President, this is what you have said. No, they will all just come, and everybody is given 15 or 20 minutes to debate on the issue. So you will come and say it, and some might even support whatever you delivered in the National Assembly. Some might say, yes, it's wrong. Yeah, but to be factual, there are certain things that are not in the reality on the ground when you look at the whole speech. Because I listened to the speech, and I heard the president saying that, 2019, their target is Operation Feed Ourselves. They are not going to import rice and other things. But if you look at the 2019 training season, automatically it has failed. So that means that this speech should have been, he have drafted this speech prior to even the rainy season will start. What was his government or his position in terms of feeding the nation, in terms of agriculture? But he came automatically. We all know the 2019 rainy season is completely failed. So if you come before the National Assembly and say that our target in 2019 is to feed the nation, and we are not going to import rice, when actually the rainy season has already been failed. So people might question you, then what do you mean when you say that 2019 you want to feed the nation, we're not going to import the rice, when actually the 2019 rainy season has already been failed, and we are not expecting a bumper harvest? And if you go to Jakali Pachar, this country, what according to the statistics, we consume 200,000 metric tons of rice. But if you go today, we don't even produce 1,000 metric tons of rice. So how can we feed ourselves? So these are things that the National Assembly members may look into it and say, come on, this is not accurate information that we are giving to the Assembly. Actually, the 2019 budget speech. But he could have said, okay, this and this and this has happened, and we all know what happens in the rainy seasons and other things. So these are some of the issues. But for him, I don't know, whoever advised him that let him not come wait for the vice president have given him a very bad advice, because as I said, it will only expose the president that he is not fit to come and appear before the National Assembly. I wish if this was a rally, they said, or the Barrow Youth Movement or the Barrow 3 5 years flat is inviting the president to come, to the for question and answers or whatever it might be. Nobody will even ask the president. He will not wait for people to even call him. He will be there. Then why not come and face the state and tell us, now what are your plans, or the speech that you give, how can you defend it? So for me, he was being ill-advised if he's advised, in regards to the whole issue, to wait for the president, for the vice president to come rather than himself coming before the National Assembly.
Kemeseng Sane, Keks, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
Keks Sane, there, a journalist who was at the National Assembly there, breaking or unpacking some of the things that happened there for us. Now, we have another report in respect or regarding the leader of the Gambia Action Party, Musa Yali Bachili. It has been reported that he's on the run over a debt, a 200,000 debt he owes a businesswoman, Mariam Diouf, but his party today has described as smear campaign these reports. And they have given an official reaction saying Mr. Bachili has no reason to flee the country. Musa Bachili is the leader of GAP, but he's currently struggling with this debt, and the issue was a subject, or has been a subject of litigation at the Kanifing Magistrates Court. A letter of notice purportedly emanating from the Kanifing Magistrates Court has been widely circulated on the social and even some mainstream media, claiming to have ordered for Mr. Bachili's immediate arrest and further incarceration at Mile 2 for 6 weeks for allegedly defaulting in settling the 200,000 debts. But officials of this not so long ago formed party on Wednesday walked into our offices here to refute claims of his reported flight from the country, but also casting doubt on the authenticity of the letter that has emerged on social media.
Action Party. But yes, we've got information that your party is currently embroiled, in some legal problems, concerning the lady, that is, has taken legal action against your party leader. Is this correct? Also, we've had information that your party leader is on the run. Is this information true?
Yeah, like you have the questions that you send right now, like you have different questions that I'm going to look at. First, the man on the run, and then whether we ascertain the information given to the public, whether it's true or false. Let me start with the man on the run. The man on the run is something that is not true. Because as I'm talking to now, or as I'm speaking to you now, Honorable Musa Yali Bachili is at home. I was with him since morning, and he has not taken any step or a feet out of this country, not even going as far as Senegambia. That is totally false. The man is around. Now, concerning the information that the media is circulating about this issue of Marema Juf, true. Yes, Marema Juf and Musa Bachili are issues like money issue. And this happened way before the establishment of the Gambia Action Party. And I have a strong feeling that if you see Marema Juf is taking that, go to that extent of bringing this information to the media and trying to publicize it, is because of the current position of Mr. Yali Bachili being the Secretary General of the Gambia Action Party. And this is something that I think we should not entertain in the Gambia, because this is what we call deformation of character, something that has to do within the jurisdiction of the Gambia Action.
But, the lady is seeking for something or asking for something that is rightfully hers.
Yeah, okay, I don't deny that part. She went to the court, and the court has given him, Mr. Bachili, limitations on how to make the payment done. And Mr. Bachili has been trying his level best. The money was like around $295,000, and he was able to make payment of $100,000 already. And they gave him time to pay. The time elapsed. Due to constraint, his daughter happened to have a problem of kidney, and he has to facilitate that movement all the way to India to make sure the daughter seek medical attention. So that distraction came in between the time of the payment. He was not around. So she alerted the court that Musa Bachili did not pay, and the man was not around. When he came in, he had the information that he's been served a warrant, that he should go to the court or to be held arrested or taken to under custody. Well, what we understand is it's true that it was served because they do not actually have his notice. But when he came, he instructed his lawyer to go to the scene and see how best they can push, the time so that it can have a room to pay, because he's not denying the payment. The payment has been going on. If at all Musa Bachili denied the payment, that he wouldn't have at least paid the butut. But in as much as he's paying, he's in the cause of paying. So I think he should be given the adequate time to pay. So, but it's like, we are looking at it as the party. It's not about the money. It's about the intention. This woman want to deform this man's character.
So, but if, for example, your party leader was serious about settling the debt, the issues would not have, reached this stage.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He's trying. If you yourself, if you own debt, so you owe somebody, and you're trying to pay, if at all he has not put a butut, we can say he's defiant to it. But in as much as he has paid something, it means he's willing. The willingness is there. So the woman should exercise patience to see how best this money is going to be paid. And
so what do you want to tell us? Are you telling us that the lady is trying to blackmail your party leader because of the prominence, the station of his station, social status, right now?
Yeah, obviously, this is what we see. Somebody coming into the limelight to deform someone's character is because of he had that hatred in you. She spelled it out that she wanted to destroy him. And if you want to do, and we've seen the steps that she's taken towards it in that line of direction. It's true. She wants just to deform her character because the Gambia Action Party being the recent formed political party in the Gambia, and it's the fastest growing political party in the Gambia. We see the kind of threat it's like bringing into the government. We see all those things. It takes center stage to see how best resources of the Gambia supposed to be put or be implemented in the right direction. So we see Bachili's concern in this endeavor. So the objective-wise is she does not just want the man to continue that legacy, to continue that good work. I might not know who is behind the scene. She might be taking it upon herself. She might be pushed. Somebody has pay her money or do this for it to happen so that this man go down. Inshallah, this man will not go down because this man is here to build this institution. The Gambia Action Party is an institution that people are seeing vibrant, in the political arena of the Gambia. So for the issue of her taking it to the media, yes, but we know if somebody you go to the media, you go to the court, I think the court will take proceedings. But there's no need for you to go to the media. She does it first. We counter-defend the issue that it was in the wrong, and it was not true. Bachili was never in the wrong. So
are you trying to imply that your party leader is being tried by the media, trialed by the media, if you like?
Of course, that's what we see. Because apart from The Voice, there's no other media that's going into this. So how am I sure that there is no deal between Mariama herself and that of The Voice newspaper? They did it first. We wrote them a letter. We wrote a letter to The Voice themselves. We told them that you people, why you are trying to deform this man's character? In fact, before you take up a story, publish it in the public, why won't you notify the individual first? What went between them? You ascertain that before ever you can make a publication. But he did that in his absence, and he also used his name on the GAP. But we know if Bachili was not a GAP member or a GAP leader, Mariama Juf will not go to the media. Like me, standing here as the public public relation director. If I owe you now, you will not go to the media. You will never go to the court, and the court will invite me. And she has done that. Why wouldn't she allow the court to take proceedings? And then she's going to the media to see how best it can damage this man's character. This is something that we are going to put a stop because we are going to take legal action against The Voice newspaper. We wrote them first, they did not reply us. But this time we are going to make sure, because we have all the right. We have all the right. Because
why legal action against The Voice? Because these are people, I'm only reporting the truth or what the information that gets to their desk.
Okay. How is the Voice newspaper knows that this is the truth between Mariama and Des?
Didn't they make any effort to contact GAP executive?
Nobody is aware. Bachili is not aware. Who is the party leader, and the Secretary General is not aware. The administrative secretary is here, is not aware. You have other eminent people in the party that are not aware. Even me, the liaison officer between the public and the Gambia Action Party, who is the public relations director, I'm not aware. So if I'm aware, I would have come to the public and see how best I can put solution to this. But we are not aware. We are not privy to this information. So why should them take the extra mile to go to the public and publicize these issues? I think for us, they fall short in terms of performance. They should not be engaging the public into short information. It's deformation of character. We are going to make sure we put a stop to this, because if we don't do this, it will not always stop with Bachili. There are other political parties that will come that are threat to the government. They will also be put on the same line of direction. So this is what we are...
So in fact, are you suspicious of the government? Are you suspicious of, some underhand play, by government trying to manipulate some people to bring down, your leader,
Yeah, precisely. I'm not saying that I'm suspecting the government, but there's a suspicious move. Because we know Mariama herself, we know the relationship between Mariama and Bachili. Bachili did not take the money by force. She willingly gave it to him. And Bachili also, because I think we said this all in the media, Bachili did not even take this money in support of himself. He took this money as a liability for someone to travel to Kenya. And it's just somebody who is just a philanthropist. He can go the extra mile to suit your comfort. That's what we know him for. So if this something happened now, he's now taking liabilities of this. So Mariama, I think, should always stop at the court. I think the court has the power to make sure this money is paid. Now, let's critically look at this, or let's look at it technically. What is the effort of the media going to make sure Bachili pays this money? Nothing. After giving the information, that's all they could do. But it's only the court that can lay sanctions on Bachili to pay the money. But if the court could not reach that level, why is she taking the extra mile to the media? And no other media else in the Gambia. You have the Fatu network that you people are representing. There is Standard newspaper. There is Paradise TV. There is FM. All other medias are in the Gambia here, but they did not take center stage to publicize this information. Why only the Voice media? There's something more into this.
And then, will it be right to say that, this will, significantly, affect your party's popularity ratings? And then,
no.
Because, it's a relatively new party.
No. I think we've gone past that stage now. The Gambia Action Party is not a child's play. It's an institution that is correct, and it's an institution that people love. The leadership, everything about the Gambia Action Party, people love in the Gambia. People know the vibrancy of this party in this country. So we are not going to lose popularity. This is going to even uplift us, because this information is going throughout the country. It's circulating. So when we are hearing about Bachili the gap leader, Bachili the gap leader, this gives us more, enthusiasm to move on as time goes on. So I don't look at it as something. It's just like the deformation of character that I'm looking at, because this individual, repeatedly coming to the limelight, people know about him in this kind of way, his depth and all. That's the only thing I'm having problem. But apart from that, the party is intact.
So when exactly are you trying to maybe bring about this legal action? When do you contemplate coming with this legal action against the...
Okay, with the legal action, I think the first the first saga happened. Then we, the executive members of the Gambia Action Party, sat. We looked at it keenly, and then we say there is a need for us to improve, like moving on, how to see if we can put a stop to this. So we visited our lawyer, and our lawyer gave us all the necessary support that we needed. And then we wrote them a letter, and the lawyer told us that if they reply us amicably, then it means we are going to put a stop. But they did not reply us. So we are looking at it, when are we going to start this legal action, until this also came in. So now we are going to sit again and finalize with the lawyer and see how best we can move on with this legal action. But for sure, I want to ascertain it here. We are going to put a stop to this.
But coming down to the rumors of the flight of your leader, out of the jurisdiction of the country, why do you think people should come up, with this kind of allegations, if it is not true?
Well, it's to the best knowledge of them, but we know. That's what I say. It's all surrounding deformation of character, just to spoil someone's name, just to see this person is not capable, this person cannot go through. In politics, African politics, that's why people look at it as a dirty game. But politics itself should not be a dirty game. It's not about building political powers, but to build a political movement where people come together, embrace to build a country. That's what I think politics should center into, but not like trying to be, picky on someone. Try to see how that person go down. This will not help. Who knows?
But don't you think, your leader have any reason, don't think, he got, any reason, to flee the country?
Why should he flee for $290,000? I personally know there are people who owe more than that here in this country. And they also even go into leadership, because all leaders we know in this country must have gone one way or the other, owing people more than that. And they are today, that is not even a deterrent. It's a deterrent to other people, but not to us. But to look at it as, so this is a determinant that if you owe someone, you cannot be a prolific leader. No. This is money issue. This is between me and you. It can come up at any time. Even me, I have debt. You have debt. Another person have debt. People have $2-3 million is for owing people here, but you never see it. You never hear it in the media. Why Bachili? And it's something that the man is even trying to pay just because of a little delayance that came in. That is why all these issues come in. So we look at it, this is a political thing that's trying just to deform this man's character to put the party down. But inshallah, this party will never go down. This party will always try to escalate, going higher and higher, inshallah.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you so much for talking to us.
Very well. That will mark the end of today's news review. Thank you very much for being there. I will see you tomorrow. Until then, goodbye.